Hey there, Bible buddies. I've got another Bible review for you today, and this is one that I've been looking forward to for quite some time. Now, originally Schuyler had their NLT, and it was the Caxton, but that was kind of a kind of their own version of the Tyndall Select NLT. And thankfully, Schuyler took it upon themselves to rework the NLT and come out with an edition of the NLT Quentel that deviates slightly from the other normal kind of Quentel layouts. And I think they really did something beautiful with the layout. I've certainly been looking forward to getting this edition. And normally I'm a Black Bible onlyist, and I also tend to prefer more literal translations. But the leather option that Schuyler chose to do actually caught my eye, and the NLT is a translation that I've been reading to my son since he was a few years younger now. We've gone through the New Testament, and we kind of circled back, and we're going through the Old Testament now. We're kind of towards the end of Leviticus, and I read to him, on occasion during dinner time or something like that. Whenever I get the chance. So I wanted to, God willing, give him this as a gift when he gets older. So, I don't know if he's going to like Black Bibles or whatever, but at least I figure this is a good looking Bible, and he grew up in the NLT. So hopefully he'll appreciate a gift from his dear old man. So let's go ahead and get into it. We have standard fare here for the box as far as Schuyler is concerned. It's just a black matte box with the little Jerusalem cross there, foil printed on it. Now, go ahead and take a look and see what it is. It is the Quentel NLT and the Desert Camel Calfskin, and is the full Yapp edition. So the box that it comes in is kind of just standard, again, standard for Schuyler. It does feel a little bit thinner than what I'm used to. It could just be me, though. I feel like I've said this every time I pick up a Schuyler box, so maybe I'm just comparing in my head to other boxes. I don't know, but it's a nice box either way. Single piece, a one-piece box. Has Schuyler Bibles on the top. It's kind of a clam box design, clamshell box design. And you get your standard kind of artsy paper, crash paper wraps to train the Yapp and keep the Bible safe during transit. Set that to the side. You also get a little card here. I'll zoom in so you guys can read if you're interested. Now, I feel like this is also in thinner paper, which is probably a smart idea. Sometimes when Bible producers put in like a lot of cards and paperwork in the Bibles, they fail to realize that you run the risk of the card imprinting into the leather. If it's a very soft leather like a lambskin or something like that, and the card is placed underneath the Bible, over time from it just sitting on that card, you'll get an outline. I have one Bible and it's lambskin, and the producer of the Bible put a really heavy duty ribbon across it to help you pull the edition out of the box. And if you look at the back side of the Bible, there's a huge imprint line from where that ribbon sat. So maybe they went to a thinner card. I can't really recall off the top of my head. But if they did, maybe that's the reason. I don't know. Or maybe cost savings. Who knows? It's all speculation here. Let's go ahead and look at the Bible. That's more interesting than a card. All right. So we have this beautiful desert camel. I keep wanting to say desert camo, but the desert camel calfskin. And obviously it's a full Yapp. I'll go ahead and get you a close up here. I'll try and get the light off of it so you can get a better representation of it. But we have the perimeter line and the perimeter stitching there on the edge. We also have the debossed Jerusalem cross there, Schuyler's logo. You can see that wonderful grain. Now, this desert camel is it's kind of like a middle of the road brown color. It's not too dark, not too light. It's definitely got a distressed look with all the creases and the kind of veininess and graininess to it. And I absolutely adore this. I love Bibles that have a lot of kind of distress to them and that are all kind of worn looking. I think it's super neat. And certainly for me, it was a toss up between this one and the aniline. But I settled on this one only because this one's a little bit darker. I'm not a super fan of really bright colored leathers, so this was certainly nice enough. Now, as far as the leather goes, you can certainly feel this kind of texture and veininess and creases and stuff. You can feel it ever so slightly. The leather itself isn't very tacky. I want to say it's not smooth because you can tell that there's texture there, but it's not very tacky in the sense that it's not very grippy. Some leathers tend to kind of stick to your hand, and they feel very secure in your hand. This leather, not so much. I feel like it's going to slide out of my hand and end up just on the floor. So I am going to be careful handling it because, it's going to be, hopefully, God willing, a gift for my kid when he gets older. So we'll go ahead and take a look at the spine, and you can see Holy Bible, New Living Translation, and then the Schuyler logo. If you notice the perimeter line there does not continue on the spine. I'm not sure why they choose to do that because it looks like there should be enough room for it to continue, but for whatever reason they stop. There are raised hubs. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. Now, again, they are raised, but they are not as raised as I've seen from some Schuyler's. It definitely feels like there's something under there. giving it a little bit of kind of volume. But I've certainly seen much like higher raised ribs, and I really love when they do like the really exaggerated raised ribs. These are nice though, because I have a couple of Schuylers where it's like really just like rib indications, and that not so much. I like them raised ribs. Yes. On the back, just more of that wonderful grain. Man, it looks sharp. Oh, my kid likes this. If not, I'll take it and I'll read it, right? Yeah, very nice Bible. We'll go ahead and take a look at the rest. Let's look at the liners. There we go. Go ahead and take a look at the corner work. Very nicely done corner work. You can see the calfskin leather cover is imprinted there. And you also have that nice perimeter liner on the edge. And that wonderful deep plum colored liner is just absolutely beautiful. Now, I'm not one for like purples and pinks. I'm a manly man, right? But this purple, I feel like, or this plum, whatever you want to call it, is deep enough to where it's not offensive to my manliness. So, and I actually think it pairs very nicely, like the kind of plum color with the brown. I like that. So it's definitely a nice color combination, I feel. Now, the 3 ribbons are double-sided satin Beresfords, I'm assuming, as Schuyler always does. They are very nicely cut. There's no fraying, nothing like that. Very high-quality ribbons, very nicely done. What else we got? As far as the edge goes, and head and tail bands and all that kind of stuff, we have kind of the deep-colored head and tail bands, that plum color again. And we do have a nice red undergold art gilt there. Very shiny. Very shiny. The book block is a concave book block. You can see the little curve there. Nicely done. And there's, oh yeah, and the liner is a one-piece liner. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get in there tight enough for you to be able to see, but it's a one-piece liner. There's no split there, separating the front and the back liner, front and rear liners. So kudos to Schuyler for taking a high-quality approach to the construction of their Bibles. Now, this leather certainly is thicker than a goat skin. All I have are Schuyler goat skins, so I don't have much to compare it to, but this feels much thicker than a Schuyler goat skin. It's not as floppy as a Schuyler goat skin, but I kind of like that because the Quentels are fairly large Bibles, so whenever you have the goat skin, it tends to get like overly floppy, and this will give it some kind of body to prevent it from becoming unwieldy in your hands. So I can appreciate the slightly thicker leather that's used here. It's a very nice leather. It just feels very high quality, very nice, exquisitely done. Let's go ahead and get into it. We have just our liner there and our end sheet. And then we have our presentation page and our marriages page, followed by our births and deaths. And then our title page, the Holy Bible. Now, you're probably going to see me struggling with this paper a little bit. Goodness. Because it's 28 GSM. I really wish that Schuyler would go back to the 36 GSM. I think I say that every single time I do a video on Schuyler's. The 28 tends to kind of fuss around with me, and I tend to fuss around with it. So 1,000 pardons if I struggle with turning the page. Here we have our Holy Bible title page, the second one. Some of Schuyler's information. I'll go ahead and pull it up here so you guys can see the copyright information. If you want to pause, go ahead and knock yourself out. There you go, and then their little logo saying that their materials are sustainably sourced. We have our table of contents. Then our alphabetical listing of the books of the Bible. A note to the readers. Introduction to the New Living Translation. And then we have our Bible translation team. I always appreciate this. I think it's nice for transparency's sake to be able to see where the translators are coming from who helped with the project. I really appreciate that when they do that. And you have your Old Testament title page. And Genesis. Let's go ahead and zoom in. There's that wonderful text. I love this layout that they did with the NLT. I know it's kind of very similar to the kind of their standard Quentel line, but they changed the drop caps, and I really love when they depart from their kind of standard stuff and just do something a little bit different. I appreciated that with the RSV as well when they did that addition. So let's go ahead and take a look. We have the book and chapter numbers up in the top corners. We have our page numbers all the way in the gutter in the very center. Then we have our, you can see this nice design element here indicating the chapters And then we have a triple line drop cap here at the beginning of each chapter, and I'll show you more of those as we go along. It is a double column paragraph setting, and there is poetic formatting throughout. We also have all of our footnotes, not our footnotes, but our cross references down in the footer. Then we have our footnotes down here in the outer corners of each page. Let's go ahead and flip a little ways through. You guys can see some of it. Now the paper is very smooth, and again it's 28 GSM, which just makes it a little hard for me to turn. That's just me, personal preference. I wish it was 36 GSM, but I think I'm going to get my way. They should go and do I guess they did like a thin towel. They should do a thick towel. So have like your 28 GSM be like the standard stuff, and then for us folks that prefer thicker paper, have like an XL edition. I don't know, something like that. You know, I would be willing to pay a few extra bucks to get a thicker paper. But certainly this is a nice creamy paper. It's very smooth. Show through is you know, about what's expected for 28 GSM. You know, you can only get so much out of a thin paper, but it's decent, you know, and especially the line matching does help with that, to where it's not too overpowering to show through. Let's go ahead and get to a poetic section here. You can see too that there are running headers throughout, not just at the beginning of the chapters, but kind of throughout the text as well. I think I've gone too far. I have gone too far. Let's go back. There we go. Put it like the end of Psalms, because you get a whole bunch of letters there. There we go. Let's see a whole bunch at once. Let's go and take a look at those triple line drop caps. We've got an H there, an O, and a P. They're just very clean. The design, man, I love it. I love drop caps. I think they're like the bee's knees, and certainly when they're well done and it's a nice font like this, it's just excellent. And I like how, you know, the drop caps have kind of like a double line here kind of thing going on, and then you have like the little design element here that also has double lines. I like that kind of carry through. It's very nice, very well thought out. Let me show you the paper. Get a close up of that in the poetic section. So yeah, a little bit of show through. Again, not terrible for 28 GSM. Not terrible in general, I guess. All right, let's keep going. To the end of the Old Testament. Another thing to note is that the red is very deep. I love Schuyler, how they do such a deep red. It almost matches the kind of plum color. I wouldn't say that it's matched completely, but because it's such a nice deep red, it goes very well with this plum color. That was another thing that I liked about the plum color. I thought it was kind of nice the way it all kind of played together. But here we have the end of Malachi and the New Testament title page, the first page of Matthew. Turn a few pages in, and we'll notice it is a black letter text. There's no red letter here in the NLT. And I'll show you actually, there's some of the footnotes for this section and the cross references. It's a very nice reader. I mean, this is a great reading edition. So you have the end of Revelation and just a blank page there. Your Concordance title page. And it gets into kind of Schuyler's standard fare for teeny tiny concordance text. Let me grab my little measuring thing here, and I'll just measure the lowercase here in the concordance so you guys can get a feeling for how small it is. Let's try the M and Made. Oh goodness, I jumped almost right to it. And I feel like maybe it got a little bit bigger because I remember it being fairly small before. It's about a 6.5 point font versus Times New Roman for the concordance. So it's fairly small. I mean, if you have problems with your eyesight, it's probably not going to even be like legible for you. There we go. There's the end of your concordance, and then you have several sheets of lined paper. A good little healthy chunk there. I don't know, maybe about 5 sheets, 10 pages or so, 10, 12 pages of lined paper. Nicely done. Not too thick, not too thin. Then we have our Bible Maps page. Title page. We have, I guess, our index of Bible maps here. I'll go ahead and pull this up so you guys can see it. Nicely done maps. Schuyler always has exquisite maps. They just do a phenomenal job with their maps. I feel like Schuyler, Cambridge, and Crossway are all at the top of the game. but it's a nice thicker paper, and it's a matte finish, so you could take notes on it if you wanted to. Very well done, their maps. And you have your index to maps. I guess the other one must have been like the map table of contents. This is maybe the gazetteer. They should label it gazetteer. That would, you know what? I would give a Schuyler 10 out of 10 if they named it a gazetteer. Here we have the index to our maps. And then after that, we just have a fairly sizable amount of very thick cardstock here at the end, which is good, I guess, if you're ever going to get it rebinded or rebound. I don't know. Rebound? Rebinded? I don't know. Either way. But there's several thick sheets there of blank paper, and you just have your end sheet at the end. Look at that. Oh, look at that beautiful leather. Excellent, excellent, beautiful Bible. All right, let me go ahead and get you some measurements, and then we'll mosey on. And I'll measure with the Yapp, because that's how I roll. It's right at 10.5 inches tall. It's a big Bible, goodness. By right about 7 inches wide. Like trying to grab it in such a way that I'm not going to crinkle the crinkle page. And then we're just shy of 1.5 inches, like 1, 2, 3, about 1 3/8 inches thick. All right, let's take a look at the font sizes. We'll start with the capital letters. We'll do the P in people. It's about a 9.5 point font versus Times New Roman for the uppercase. And for the lowercase, oh, it's good. I love it when the fonts do this. Much larger with the lowercase. It's about an 11.5 point font versus Times New Roman for the lowercase. So certainly this is a nice legible font, very easy to read. I think it is ever so slightly smaller than the standard Quentels as far as font size goes. I have some videos on the other Quentels, or the kind of a couple Quentels. I think. I'll post a link here, or maybe down below in the description. Either way, yeah. So great, super wonderful Bible. I'm super stoked for this edition. I will be very happy to pass it along to my son. Again, God willing. I can't see the future. For all I know, for all I know, maybe the Lord will come back soon. Hopefully, God willing, take us all. So it'll be a moot point, and I can just hang out with my son in heaven. Otherwise, Bible buddies, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, anything like that, or if you just want to talk about like one of your awesomest Bibles, or a Bible that you've given to your kid, please feel free to chime in down below. I love hearing that kind of stuff. If you have any input or anything, please feel free to chime in with that too. It's always much appreciated. Bible buddies, until next time, bye.